Me again. So I thought I would do. I told these stories in my Instagram stories, but you know how far they stay in those for like probably like 24 hours or so. So I thought I would do something a little bit more lasting because it was a pretty cool thing. So I'm going to title this my Turtle Trilogy. If you have a better title, let me know in the comments and maybe I'll rename it. Otherwise, you get stuck with Turtle Trilogy. Okay, that's what you get. I'm so creative right now. So I thought I would tell you um, three different times that God decided to use turtles, of all things, to talk to me. So let's kick this off with the first turtle. I was driving one day on the road, and my parents have taught me, first of all, my parents have taught me to love all of God's creation and to respect the sanctity of life. However, I draw the line at like spiders, roaches, and mosquitoes. Okay, those things can just go. I'm sure that I know they have a purpose in the circle of life in God's design, but I'm not a fan of them being near my person. Anyway, I digress. So I was driving down the road and I saw a turtle. And I always, stop to help them across the street because they move slow and they're going to get smushed. I mean, that's just it. I mean, if you've ever played Frogger, you know what happens. So there was this big honking turtle in the road one day and I was like, ooh, fun. So I wasn't really thinking. I was just doing what I always do, which is help a turtle across the road because I don't want him to go smush because it's horrifying, okay? Um anyway, so, you always take a turtle whatever way it's faced because turtles are stubborn and, if you put them back on the other side of the road where they were coming from, they're going to be like, "How dare you?" and they're going to turn their little fannies around and go right back across and then they're going to be in the same situation they were when you first found them, which is in the middle of the road trying not to die. So, I see this guy's headed towards, this side of the road. So I walk over and this guy, he's a hoss. Okay. He's big. He was the size of my steering wheel. And I was like, let's get into a squat and lift with our back here. So I go to pick him up and a police car sees that I'm in the middle of the road with my flashers on. He's like, and he looks out and he's like, okay, crazy lady's helping a turtle. So he's in his car. And I'm like, hey, he was blocking the oncoming traffic. So I was like, sweet, at least he'll let me pick the turtle up and then, I'll just obviously pay attention to the traffic and we'll cross the street. Cool. So he was in his car with his lights on, stopping the cars from coming, and I go to the side of the road. He's in the middle of that one trying to cross over. And I pick him up and I say that like it was easy. I did not just pick him up. Okay. Like this thing must have been the turtle that they got the inspiration for Bowser for because he was not happy and had some superpowers. Okay. So this thing was like a dinosaur demon turtle thing, majigger, that I've never witnessed or beheld or held in my life. And so I pick this thing up and normal turtles, they go and they just suck in their shells and that's great and it's cute. And they're like, oh, I love turtle, yay. Not this guy. He was like, how dare you? And he snapped it and like maybe we can make him Russian. He was like, I don't know, or Brit, whatever. Whatever. His voice was not a nice voice. So think of a villain and put that voice on this thing. And so he was just, and he stuck his head clean out of his shell and whipped around and tried to bite me. Like almost got my finger. And so of course I screamed and I dropped it and was like, oh, I thought that was it. No. This turtle jumps slash levitates and turns on me. He turned on me. And I was just trying to help him across the road. I don't even know. First of all, I'm freaking out because I didn't know a turtle's neck could be that long. Like, literally, this was its neck and this was the size of its head. Except for it had like a pointy beak thing. I found out later after a good Google search that it was an alligator snapping turtle. So educate yourselves before you go picking up turtles, just letting you know. But yeah, so he tried to take my hand off. And he was very mad and very aggressive. And so it took me, the police officer, and another random lady that also pulled her car over to get this turtle across the street. All we're trying to do is save this turtle's life. We're just trying to get it off across the street. But he was so upset and in his own feels that we were helping him when he could have very well done it all on his own. Yes, he absolutely could, but we were doing it and helping him. It was going to be better and easier and a lot less chance to get smushed, okay? Like perspective. And so we're doing all of this and getting snapped at, hissed at. It's doing its psycho jump spinny thing and looking like a top of death. Anyway, I'm so disgruntled and I'm almost just like, you know what? You ought to die. Which that was awful. We didn't let it die, okay? But I was getting mad. He almost took my thumb. And God spoke to me right in the thick of my like crankiness, and he goes, this sounds awfully familiar, my sweet. And I was like, whoa, Jesus, what you talking about? And he was like, how often am I trying to help you? But because it's not your way, you're snapping at me. And I was like, instant conviction. Guys, I'm the turtle. How often are you the turtle? Here I am, being sweet and kind and helping this turtle across the street when it's trying to kill me, and all I'm trying to do is save its life, and I didn't give up, and yeah, we got it across the street and it was fine. We did like the jump high five yay thing, and I made a few friends, but like how often is God trying to do something good for us, but because it's not our way or in our time or solely done by us or our plan, are we biting at the Lord? Yo, He created us. He knows what's best. Let's not be the turtle. Let's let God do His job. Let's let our Creator help us in His way, in His time, because trust me, just like a person picking up a turtle and getting it across the street safely and succinctly, God's plan is much better than ours. Yes, the turtle could have made it just fine, but we were helping it. And when it got across the street, I'm sure it gave me a grumpy old man, hey, thanks. But we had to get it there first. Let's not argue with the Lord. And let's go ahead and receive the blessing, even if it's not wrapped the way we want it. And be thankful for His divinity and His righteousness and His kindness and His provision. And just accept it. And let the Lord move you to safety. Let Him show you the way. Let Him guide you. Let Him do His job. You just receive it. And don't be an alligator snapping turtle. And don't bite the Lord. So that was my first message from my very, very grumpy Bowser-esque demon dinosaur turtle. Don't be the turtle. And let God help you. So stay tuned for turtles number 2 and 3 in the Turtle Trilogy. Thanks, guys.